Your parents didn't teach you about money, so I will. This is lesson 3, and today we are setting some money goals. We talked about calculating your starting saving and investing rate in our last video. So naturally, the next question is, how much should I be saving? I don't want to give you just an arbitrary 10%, 20%, because that is going to vary based on your current situation. What I want you to do first is set some actual goals for savings and for investing. Because with goals comes timelines. And if you have a timeline and you have a monthly contribution amount, you can see if it lines up with that goal. Now, it is more than likely that you're not going to be where you should be when it comes to the goal versus how much you're saving. That is okay. Remember, we have to know where we're starting. We have to know where we're going, and then you start making adjustments because now we have a clear path forward. So let's get working on that. I'm going to cover how to set a savings goal in this video. Then we'll talk about how to set an investing goal in the next video. 2 slightly different calculations, so I don't want to overwhelm you in this one video. Let's start with the savings goal. The number 1 savings goal that you should have, if you don't already, is an emergency fund. An emergency fund does go inside of your high yield savings account. Is it the only thing that can go in a high yield savings account? No. You can have as many savings goals as you want within your savings account. One of them, though, has to be your emergency fund. Emergency fund is for a rainy day. It's for an accident. It's for a co-payment. It's for the AC going out. Something is always going to come up in life. I might not know what emergency is going to happen to you, but I can almost guarantee you that an emergency will happen at one point or another. Where you're going to start is calculating what your 1 month essential expenses are. What do I mean by that? Please don't assume that I'm referring to accurate numbers here. For example, you pay $500 in rent. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have a $200 grocery budget. 1, 2. All your utilities, cell phone, internet, all that stuff is $100 total. 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. Your gas is another $40. 40. You have a few loans. Your minimum payments come out to $80. 20, 40, 60, 80. And maybe you have some prescriptions that you just can't go without. That's another $80. 20, 40, 60, 80. All of this totals 1 month's worth of necessary expenses. I'm not talking about eating out. I'm not talking about new clothes. I am talking about necessary expenses. And yes, your minimum payments for any debt is considered a necessary expense because ignoring our credit is not going to be useful in the long run. So we want to make sure we include those minimum debt payments. We have our total necessary expenses. In my case, $1,000 equals a 1 month emergency fund. Make that your first goal if you don't yet have an emergency fund. Not $1,000, 1 month's worth of necessary expenses. Once you reach that first goal, we're going to move on to the next, which is 3 months worth of necessary expenses. 1,000 times 3, 3,000. That would be my next goal for an emergency fund. From there, you keep going up until you feel comfortable. 3 to 6 months is what normally people will tell you. However, if you are in a single income household and you have dependents, you have kids or other people who depend on you, maybe that looks more like 9 to 12 months because if you lose your income, it gives you a really short runway for when you have to get back to work. If you're in a dual income household, then yeah, 3 to 6 months is okay. If one person loses their job, you're not losing your entire household income at once. None of these are set in stone. You can make up whatever it is that you want your goal to be. I'm just saying a minimum of 3 months, 6 months, and you're kind of solid regardless. If you want to be on the safer side, then yes, shoot for that 9 to 12 months. Everybody has a different situation, so just go based off of how you would feel the most comfortable. Now, what I don't recommend is you starting from zero and saying, I want a 12-month emergency fund right off the bat. Make yourself smaller goals to reach. Hit that 1 month, hit that 3 months, hit that 6 months. Now, when it comes to starting off, if you don't have an emergency fund, you want to hit that 1 month emergency fund as quickly as possible. So if you were putting extra towards your investing, keep it at the minimum and focus on building up that 1 month emergency fund. Once you hit the 1 month, you can take your foot off the pedal a little bit and then work towards that 3 month emergency fund at a slower pace, especially if you haven't focused much on investing thus far. In terms of how much you're saving, if you're trying to hit that 1 month emergency fund, you want to get to that number as quickly as possible. How fast can you save up for that emergency fund? Is it 3 months? Is it 6 months? Is it a year? Figure that out given your current savings rate. How does that make you feel? Does that feel doable? Does it feel like a really long time? If it feels like a really long time, then maybe we need to look at what we're putting towards our bills or towards other expenses to see if we can contribute a little bit more towards our savings to get us to that goal faster. Maybe we can look at other ways to make some money to get us to that goal faster. This is where we start getting creative, because now we have a goal, we have a starting point, and we're trying to get to that goal as quickly as possible. Laying this all out is what helped me start thinking strategically on how I was going to hit my next goal. Okay, so your homework is to figure out how much that 1 month emergency fund is for you. If you already have it, fantastic. Do you have 3 months? If you have the 3 months, then hold off for me and let's figure out how we're doing with investing so it can help you figure out the best split between the two. Let me know what your ultimate emergency fund goal is in the comments. I hope you found this helpful.